where everybody is. It's time for the club meeting to start.
Hey, Cassie, give me a hand, will you?
Hey, Wayne, what's all this trash and why are you bringing it up here?
There's no trash can in our part of the park. Give me the wastebasket, will you? Ugh. Our park is a mess.
Well, when all the club members get here, that'll be our project for today, to clean up the park.
Good idea.
Is it really that bad, Wayne?
Oh, yes, look.
Oh, now I see why. Look at that boy down there. He's eating his lunch, and he's leaving all his garbage on our park bench.
Hey, look, there's Jenny. She must know him.
Hey, Jenny, hurry up. The club meeting's about to start. Order, order. The Hickory Hideout meeting come to order.
If you're going to order something, I want to order a peanut butter and bologna sandwich, a date nut bread.
Oh, not so.
Not so. Not a food order. I need your attention. Our important meeting is about to begin.
What's that?
Oh, that's old Shirley. She's got the hiccups.
Oh, Shirley, whenever I have the hiccups, I hold my breath and count to 10. Why don't you try it?
So we can get on with our important meeting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I can't. I was about to burst.
Come on, Cassie. As president, start the meeting. We'll have to worry about Shirley's hiccups later.
We have a problem in our park.
Gee, Cassie, what problem?
Oh, come on, Jenny. Didn't you see it? You were right there. That boy, didn't you see what he did?
Oh, you mean Ty. He goes to my school. What did he do?
He littered. He's a litter bug.
Gee, I didn't even notice.
That's the problem. We ignore it.
Well, I don't litter.
And I don't either.
Wait a second. We are all at fault. Look at this. I just picked up all of this trash down in the park by the bench. Now, look at this. I wonder who could be eating cashews. There seem to be a couple left.
Not so. Well, what can we do about it?
Well, we know there's a problem. That's the first step. Now we can clean up the park.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My own park. Hickory Park. The deed just signed. Soon to be Hickory parking lot. God, I hate parks. They're too much work. Look at this place. Look at all this litter. When this place becomes a parking lot, it'll be beautiful. Concrete with big white lines painted on it where all the cars fit. No people hanging around, no trees. I think I'll start with that big old hickory tree way over there. They don't call me Buzz Buzzsaw for nothing.
Let's go.
Do you think we've got enough bags?
Well, we have to get rid of those hiccups before we go anywhere.
Well, I've heard that if you frighten someone, it will scare the hiccups right out of them.
Really?
Boom! Oh, nutso. You don't frighten me. You just make me laugh.
Well, I can be frightening.
The hiccups can wait. Come on, we've got to get down there and clean up the park.
Let's get moving.
We'll be with you in a minute. I've got another idea on how to get rid of Cheryl's hiccups. Cheryl, I got this bag here.
Gee, this is a bigger mess than I thought.
How did we ever let it get this bad?
This is going to take all day. And more garbage bags than we have.
Well, that's one down. Only about 500 or, I don't know how many to go. I gotta get rid of these pesky animals before I set down the concrete. I wonder if there's any squirrels around. Love squirrels, too.
What's that guy doing over there? He looks like he's cutting down one of the trees in our park.
Hey, you, what do you think you're doing?
What do you think I'm doing? I'm cutting down these lousy trees. They only get in the way.
But trees are beautiful. They're part of our park.
Ha! I'm going to make this park useful. My Hickory parking lot.
Excuse me, Mr.
It's Buzzsaw.
Excuse me, Mr. Buzzsaw, but you can't cut down the trees in this park because this land doesn't belong to you.
Oh, yes, it does.
I think you're mistaken. My family has owned this land for as long as I can remember. Why, they even let us build our Hickory Hideout on it.
Not anymore, I don't. Park belongs to me now. My card?
Buzz B. Buzzsaw. Tree cutting. Concrete parking lot construction, my specialty.
And as new owner of this Hickory Park, I can do anything I like with it. I mean, just look around at this place. You see what a mess it is? Oh, God, I hate litter. First, I'm going to get rid of that creek over there with all those old pop cans and those hiking paths lined with people's leftover picnics and the bike trail and all these pesky little animals running around, especially squirrels. Oh, I hate squirrels.
Not so and Shirley.
Excuse me, Mr. Buzzsaw. We seem to have a little a little problem here. Now, you say that you own this property, and Cassie says that her family owns this property. Cassie, do you have any proof?
All I have to do is call my grandfather.
You don't have to do that. I've got all the proof I need. This deed proves that I own it.
Since when?
Since I just bought it.
Oh, but my grandpa would have not sold this land without telling me, especially since our hideout's on it.
What's this hideout?
It's our special place where we come every week. It's in that old hickory tree over there. It's our clubhouse, you know?
Yeah, I know. And I know it belongs to me now. And it's soon to go timber!
We've got to save the hideout.
The park.
The squirrels.
Hey, where did he go?
He's headed right for the hideout.
Gotta stop him.
Hickory Hideout will return right after these messages. And now, back to Hickory Hideout.
Nutso, this isn't helping. Well, why don't you try drinking some more water? That's sure to do it. I have so much water in me already. I'm about to float. Well, you want to get rid of those hiccups, don't you? So we can go down to the park and help with the cleanup? Sure. I just wish there was someone who could frighten me. That's always worked before. Sure. Look, Cheryl, just keep blowing in that bag. Sisters.
Ah, so this is the hideout, huh? Pretty comfortable looking. Little dusty, though. And here is my deed to the park. This proves that I own it, that I can do anything I want to it. As long as I don't let anybody read this deed too closely. Squirrel! I thought I smelled something I dislike. This will be the start of my cleanup operation.
Keep blowing, Cheryl. Keep blowing. Okay, Cheryl. Turn around. I told you I could scare you. It's a monster man. Yeah, it's a monster man. Behind you. Wait a minute here. Who are you?
Never mind, I know who you are.
Nutso and Shirley. Squirrely.
Nope, my dinner.
Oh, Olivia, get out of here! Come on, run, Cheryl, run!
Curses! fast for me. It looks so delicious. After him!
Come on, Joe.
Oh, there go Nutso and Shirley. He beat us here.
And he almost got the squirrels.
Must be up in the hideout.
Let's go get him.
Wait, Cassie, we have to have a plan. Plan A, we've got to find out who really owns this place, your grandpa or Buzz Buzzsaw. And Plan B, if Buzz Buzzsaw really does own it, we have to find a way to convince him not to turn our park into a parking lot.
I better call my grandpa.
Hey! Hey! You see two squirrels run by here? They were up in your hideout.
You mean Nutso and...
So you know them. Boy, will I be glad to clean up this park. People who talk to squirrels and love trees and make litter. Will you look at this junk?
Mr. Buzzsaw, we promised to keep it clean if you don't turn it into a parking lot.
Too late for that, kid. Oh, it's gonna be clean. It's gonna be clean of trees and clean of hideouts and clean of squirrels and clean of people. It's gonna be just cement. Beautiful, clean cement. Look, I'll give you 10 minutes to get you and your stuff out of here. In the meantime, I'm gonna go do some squirrel chasing.
You're not going to let him do that, are you, Wayne?
I'll go follow him. Nothing's going to happen to those squirrels.
I'm coming with you.
I'll go call my grandpa and straighten this out for sure. Whoops! Ooh, excuse me, but I'm in a big hurry.
Hey, kid, you see two pesky squirrels with sharp teeth run by here?
No.
I was just talking to them up in that hideout.
Talking?
Yeah, talking. What do you think? And when I catch up with that Nutso and Shirley, oh, it's supper time! Hey, kid, you spilled popcorn in my park. Look at this place. What are you, some kind of litter bug? Hey, if you want to sit on my bench, you gotta be careful and not make such a mess. Pick up that popcorn and put it in a trash can. Oh, God.
Oh, I hope my grandfather's home. Hello, Grandma? Hi, it's Grandpa Gregory there. It's nice to hear your voice, too. Yeah, my mom got over her cold, and Dad's back from Pittsburgh. Oh, yes, and thank you very much for the jelly. Is Grandpa Gregory there? Oh, he's reading the newspaper. Could you go get him? Thanks, I'll hold.
Hello, is this my little Cassie?
Grandpa?
Well, what can I do for you? Are you coming to dinner?
Oh, no, not today. Grandpa, the reason that I called, you know Hickory Park.
Of course I know Hickory Park. Why, when I was only 8 years old, my dad, your great-grandfather...
Grandpa, excuse me, but you know the treehouse.
Why, yes, I know about that treehouse. What a wonderful idea. I wish I'd thought to build a treehouse.
Did you sell it?
Sell the treehouse? Well, no, of course not.
Oh, no, I mean the park. Did you sell the land here?
Oh, well, yes, I did sell the land just this week to, Mr. Buzz Buzzsaw. He seemed like an all right fellow. Made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
Grandpa, I met this man, and he says that he's going to turn the park into a parking lot.
Well, he can't do that. You read the deed closely. I hear your grandmother calling. I'm sorry you can't come to dinner, my dear. Goodbye.
Grandpa, what about the deed? I guess we're going to have to think about Plan B. Try to get Buzz Buzzsaw to not turn the park into a parking lot.
Well, one good thing about being chased by a monster man.
What?
You got rid of your hiccups, didn't you? Come on, we gotta get out of here before he finds us.
Oh, hello. You haven't seen a big, mean monster man around here, have you? Yes, but you talk, don't you?
Well, of course we talk. And if you've seen him, we'd better get out of here before he finds us.
And if you're smart, you'll leave too.
Okay.
Just the right size for two pesky squirrels.
But I don't see that monster man, do you?
No, I think the coast is clear.
Yes, it is! Oh! Oh, he bit me again! Maybe this isn't worth it.
Have you seen the squirrels?
No, maybe they're up in the hideout.
Oh, Cassie, what did your grandfather say?
It's time for Plan B.
But how do we convince Buzz Buzzsaw not to turn the park into a parking lot?
Yes, how? He loves parking lots, and he doesn't like anything about parks.
What can we do to save the hideout? What can we do? Time is running out.
What can we do to save the park now? What can we do? Can you tell me how? Both of them are places that we like a lot. Both of them are better than a parking lot. In a park you can picnic every day. In a park you can hike, feed the squirrels, or play. You can see
A parking lot is very neat. It's made of concrete. What a treat, no mud.
You can walk
No grass.
along the creek.
As smooth.
Or watch a squirrel stuff a
glass.
nut in his cheek, or smell
Gray
the
by day.
flowers.
No place for anyone to play. No animals.
We've got to find a way
No mess.
to save the park today.
So
we have got to find
I
a way.
stretch. I hope
so
the
very much
park
the park
will
will always, always, always,
never,
always
never
be a
park. And the first step is to get rid of those pesky squirrels.
Come on, Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl, this would be a great place to hide.
Good idea, Nutso.
I got you now, you wild and crazy squirrels.
Hickory Hideout will return right after these messages. And now, back to Hickory Hideout.
Cassie, exactly what did your grandfather say?
I don't know. He said that he sold the land, but that we shouldn't worry. Something about the deed.
You mean this?
The deed.
This is Buzz Buzzsaw's deed to the land.
Now I remember. He said to read the deed closely.
I, Buzz Buzzsaw, agree that Hickory Park will remain in its natural state to be used for the enjoyment and relaxation of all. No hunting of wildlife will be allowed on the property.
Well, what does that mean, Wayne?
The hideout is safe. The park is safe.
And the squirrels!
Excuse me, my name is Ty.
Oh, hi, Ty. Welcome to Hickory Hideout.
Neat hideout!
I know you. I've seen you in the park.
Yeah, in the park. You were...
Listen, I thought you might want to know since your treehouse is here and all.
About what?
There was this big guy with a mustache down in the park.
Buzz Buzzsaw. What about him?
He had this blue knapsack, and he captured these 2 squirrels in it. You know something? These squirrels talk.
Nutso
and Shirley.
Let's go.
Shut up, you two. You're gonna be my barbecue.
There he is.
Hey, you dropped those squirrels. We've got us surrounded. Jenny, you go that way. Cassie, you go that way.
All right. Now my recipe for squirrel stew. Will you shut up? Will you just shut up? Let's see. Plump young squirrels are the best. Let's see. You're not very plump. How old are you anyway? Oh, you pesky squirrel! You bit me again, Judy. Oh,
Oh, where did he go? Oh, there he is.
Oh, grab the bag, wait.
They're not there.
You didn't!
Nah, they got away.
Yay!
Mr. Buzzsaw, I think we have something that belongs to you.
What?
Your deed, Mr. Buzzsaw?
You didn't read it, did you? Mm-hmm. Closely? Mm-hmm. Well, isn't that funny? You know, I'm just kidding about all this parking lot stuff and cutting down the trees, and I've lost my appetite for squirrel stew. But I'll tell you one thing. As the owner of the new Hickory Park, I won't stand for any littering. If you want to use my park, you remember, no littering.
Hey, can somebody help me with this?
Oh, sure.
What's this?
A trash can. What else? This is exactly what's missing in the park.
Hey, what's your name, kid?
Well, this is Ty. And Ty, this is Mr. Buzz Buzzsaw, who's our new landlord and our friend.
Friend? I'm your friend?
Sure.
Friend?
Oh, no, please, don't bite me again.
We won't if you're really our friend.
Sure.
Friend? I never had a friend before. I mean, I don't know how to be nice.
Oh, what do you mean? You decided not to destroy the park.
Or hurt the squirrel.
Oh, I'm staying a safe distance from those squirrels.
Then you're our friend.
I'm your friend?
Time for the meeting.
The Hickory Hideout Club meeting come to order. I'd like to welcome our two new friends, Ty and Buzz Buzzsaw, to the club meeting. Now for our first order of business.
Madam President.
Yes, Buzz?
I think the first order of business should be to keep the park clean. The best solution is to hand out assignments. There are a lot of jobs to do.
I second the idea.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay.
Well, I'll keep the new trash can in the park empty.
And Wayne and I can keep the area around the park bench clean.
And I'll make sure there's always a big supply of trash bags.
And Shirley and I will empty the wastebasket here in the hideout.
And I'll make sure everybody does his job.
But what about those others who use the park?
Don't worry. Don't worry. There won't be any littering in my park. I'll show them who's boss. I won't let them pull anything over on me. While I'll even put a barbed wire all around the park if I have to. I'll just... Oh, yeah.
That's not very nice, Mr. Buzzsaw.
Well, it's so hard to be nice.
But you'll catch on.
And listen, Buzz, if we all do our job and set a good example, then everybody else will catch on.
And then we'll have a lot of new friends at the hideout, so what are we waiting for?
The meeting is adjourned.
Now everything has really worked out. All that we did saved the hideout.
I'm glad because I've got some friends now. Cassie and Wayne helped to show me how. Parks and hideouts are the spots we like a lot. Both of them are better than a parking lot.
In a park you can picnic every day. In a park you can hike, feed the squirrels, or play. You can see
And you can feel a
tree,
gentle breeze
and feel
you can see the
breeze.
leafy trees or bike.
You can walk
or hike
along the creek,
or play
or watch a squirrel
all
step a
day.
nut in his cheek, or smell
along
the
the creek for a
flowers,
week.
or rest for hours.
And me.
The hideout's here to stay.
Friends.
We saved the park today.
So
All together now we say, we're very, very glad the park will always, always, always,
always,
always be a park.